How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation. It's time to get that creativity all revved up, get that imagination working, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Régis Loisel. I believe I'm saying that right, but chances are probably not, so let me know in the comments down below. He is probably best known for his work with Mulan and the Disney's Atlantis movie as well. And he did a wonderful graphic novel or illustrated version of Peter Pan that I think I have a couple of images to share with you guys too. But check right over here. Like I said, he's got a very, I think, unique and kind of European stylings to his work that remind me of almost if Mobius did Disney kind of style that I love. I love his work. Again, he's someone that I'm new to in the last year. That's new to my world, and everything that I can find of his, I just soak up and really am completely impressed with, and just obsessed with. I love his stuff. I really like this character. I feel like there's almost a now I'm not gonna remember his name, but a Lilo and Stitch quality to it. Just blanking. You know what? I'm trying to stay focused today. But that artist who I can't think of. You know what? I'm gonna pause it. It's gonna bug me. It's funny. As soon as I pause the recording, Chris Sanders. I remembered it as soon as I was like, okay, who's that? But anyways, he has those kind of. I get that kind of a vibe from his work too. But again, I really love his stuff. I can't speak highly enough of it. I think his work is just marvelous. He does that thing that I try to do in my own work, and I always recommend for you guys to try to pursue as well, which is finding the influences that you like and learning the fundamentals and then making them your own, because you can see in his work a lot of kind of a Disney-esqueness to it, but it's not. Like, he's got his own stylings in there, and like I said, it's very it feels to me very reminiscent of a lot of European graphic novelists too, which I really like. Now you can tell that there's always kind of a different vibe between like European graphic novelists, like the Asian or Chinese graphic novels of the manga style, and then the more American style. And yeah, there's definitely some beauty in there. And I think with the it's going to sound old fartish, I guess, today. But with the internet being so prolific as it is, I'm really eager, and this is the other thing I try to encourage you guys to, is you are the creative future if you're watching this. You are right now. Whatever it is that you do today is gonna help build your future and the future of the creative world as it is. So if it's animation or music or drawing or layout or graphic design or whatever it is, this future, even though people will say like, oh, well, I can't get on YouTube and make videos, you might be thinking that to yourself, or maybe not. Chances are you probably already have a great YouTube channel. If you do, kudos, let me know in the comments down below. But in reality, this maybe like 2010, so 5 years or so, this kind of new, very widespread, blossoming internet culture is really just starting, and so I encourage you guys to go off and start getting into stuff, and don't worry if you suck, because this whole thing is still basically an experiment, and it's just developing. So try new things and be okay with failing, and just go out there and stay motivated and stay inspired and do things each and every day. Again, I'm rambling, but you're going to love his work. The more you check out of his work, you're just going to love it. So I'll throw a link in the description to more of his stuff down below. I urge you guys to check it out, because I think his work is phenomenal. I just love it. But I wanted to share a quote with you guys from him as well. It was from an interview that he did. And unfortunately, I was only able to find translated versions, and I don't know how 100% accurate this is to the original one, so bear with me. But he's French, so most of the stuff was in French, so I had to try and do some translation myself. So this is about as close as I can get. So when I draw, I think of nothing but what I do at the moment I do it. I think that level of focus and mental clarity while you're working is hard to achieve, at least for myself, and especially in the era that we're in, where we're inundated with distractions all around. So I think it's important to try and get that, or at least have that goal in mind, whether you get there or not, and try to. I think at best for myself, the way that I like to think of it is, the negative maybe things that have been going on in your day, or the positive stuff, or the distractions that are in your mind, let alone, the sound from your buddy playing video games over there, or your grandma watching TV over there, or your dog running around, and all that stuff. But I'm talking about even the stuff that you can control. Maybe you can't control that stuff, but the internal monologues that you have of, oh, you know what, money's tight this month, or I just had a fight with somebody, or any of that kind of stuff. Try and get rid of that as much as you can, and have just your focus be on the thing that you're doing, that creative, imaginative, wonderful thing. And I think it's a tough thing to do, but I know for myself, the more that I'm in the zone where that's the only thing I'm thinking about, the better the work comes out. So I think it's a great goal for us to have as creators, but I think you have to be realistic and realize that you're not probably going to be able to achieve that every time, and that's okay. But that's why doing work each and every day and trying to push it so that your mind and your spirit gets more mentally fit to be able to get into that zone quicker and easier and tune out the rest, I think is a great skill to try to develop, for at least for myself, and hopefully you guys think the same. If you disagree with me, if you have different points of view, as always, let me know in the comments down below. But that being said, let's go ahead and get into some animation. This is the Flex rig. It's a free rig you can grab over at Creative Crash. And if you're not familiar, what we do for the rest of the video, we'll be playing around and doing some animation. We give ourselves 48 frames. It's 2 seconds of animation. I go off and I find a rig that I've never used before. It's a free resource for you guys to play around with as well. Like I said, check out the description below. I'll have a link to them down there if you guys want to play around. And we kind of go from there. A little bit of over the shoulder, hang out with me while I animate. A little bit of talking through the process. But overall, the main goal of these videos each and every day is to hopefully encourage you guys and inspire you to go off and be creative and be imaginative and use that unique personality and wonderful traits that you have, and do something with them each and every day, because I think that's really, this is the creative future, and I want to be a part of it. I want you guys to be a part of it, so I hope you do that. And like I said, definitely subscribe to the channel. I think even if you don't end up watching the videos, maybe just by if you check your YouTube feed and you see I put up another video, it'll help remind you of this talk that we just had right now, and you'll be like, you know what, I should go off and create something today, no matter what's happening. Casey's there, and he wants to give you some encouragement and some thumbs up and some feedback, and you're not alone in your creative journey. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into some animation. I'm a little rambly today. It's been kind of a long day. It was one of those days where it's like, oh, I might not be able to get my ducks in a row, as it were, to get a video out today. But I've gone for almost, I've done at least something on the channel every day for over a year now. So I wasn't going to let today be one of those days where life got in the way. So let's go ahead and set our frame range from 0 to 48, and let's go ahead and think of something that we can do for this pose. Now, for today's video, like I said, life has been a little nutty already today, and it's about 4 hours later than it normally would be when I would do my recording. So I think we're just going to stick with kind of a, not vanilla, but a walk cycle for today, and just be something that hopefully will be somewhat easy to get at. Now, again, you can see there's a little bit of lag with this rig, so I apologize about that, but I think we'll be able to work through it. And it's getting, I gotta admit, it's getting a little bit tougher each and every day to get into and find a new rig to play around with and share with you guys each and every day. So if you have recommendations, or if you are a rigger yourself, let me know in the comments below so I can feature your video, or try it out and share it with other people as well. 1 second here. Okay, I was hoping that we'd have some does have a switch, so it makes me think that there's probably a switch somewhere. Alright, so couldn't find any FK controllers. I tried to see if there was maybe something that was missing there. So I'm feeling like maybe let's have him carry something. And just give us something to do with those hands. I originally had a different idea, but that's okay. We can go with something. Keep playing around until we get a better idea. Let's keep that up a little bit higher. Push that foot a little more forward. Just want to create a nice, good storytelling pose to start off with. And let's go ahead and save our file real quick. We are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video, and if you want more information on that, check out to the link in the description below. And let's go ahead and create a polygon primitives. Let's create a cube here. And that's a little too flat, so let's clean that up. Now let's zero it out here a little bit. Stretch it out a bit more. Squeeze it in a little bit. Bring it down just a little bit. Okay. Let's rotate that a little bit. Maybe bring it down. Okay. So with something like this, what we're going to want to do is parent this block here. See if I can get that a little bit tilt forward on the head here. Not completely. There's create a locator, parent the locator, parent the block to the locator and the locator to the chest, and that way we can get some movement that'll go along with it. So first thing we're going to do is create a locator. Boom, bring it right over here, pop it right in where we kind of want that connection to be, which is right about there. And then we'll get our pop our outliner open here, show all. It's a little laggy, this rig. It looks like a really nice rig from the little that I've tweaked around with it, but it is a little laggy, so be aware of that if you're going to use it. Now we're going to control click the locator, and we'll go ahead and press P on our keyboard and parent those together. Then we'll grab the locator, and we'll shift click that portion of the chest, and again we'll hit P on there, and that should do it. And now if we did that right, we move this, and it moves along with it as well. Now, the reason we did a locator for it was if we want to do some animation on this cube, we can go ahead and do that later, and the locator is going to be parented to the top of the back, so we can do a little bit of extra animation in the cube if we want to do later. It's good that it's a good practice to always get involved, so that way again, just to kind of quickly give you an example of that, if we just grab, let's say this is well, it is a phone, and I want to parent it to the hand. If I just grab this, pose it out, and then leave it like this, select whatever the hand or wrist controller would be there, and the phone, and parent them together, I'm going to get animation that always looks rigid like this. I'd still be able to move the fingers, but the phone itself would stay locked in position where it is in the hand. But if we create a locator in between them, it acts as an extra point there, and then I could parent the phone to the locator and the locator to the hand, so that way I could move everything, and then if I wanted to do a little bit of movement on the phone itself, I could do that as well. So that's kind of a brief, or not so brief, I don't know, explanation of why we do it that way. And let's go ahead and try and do this. Let's see if I was going to bring that, my hands would naturally kind of go forward like that. And again, I always recommend that you guys try and do any sort of posing yourself if you're gonna do any acting shots as well, so you can kind of see what your natural pose would be. So don't be afraid to look silly and goofy in front of your webcam, or record yourself on video or whatever it may be, just to get yourself into the acting itself. So it'll help you create a more original and unique posing and give you different ideas that you might not have thought of while you're just looking at it here in Maya itself, as far as what kind of a pose you want and where your legs would be and where your weight would be. And especially when you're just starting out, that's a very helpful thing, is to shoot video reference or watch other people's video reference. I tend to not really work from video reference myself. I tend to just kind of use it as, like I said, reference, where that would be, let's see, it's not really that great. See if we can get a little bend here. I'll bring that forward a little bit more. Just trying to make this feel a little more natural. I feel like that shoulder's kind of a little janky there. Just because you get that kind of funkiness there, so we want to try and avoid that if we can. Again, it's probably not going to be perfect, but we want to try and avoid that a little bit more if we can. Now let's try and build this one. What was I talking about a second ago? I lost my train of thought now thinking about posing. Just talking about video reference. I think there's a pitfall that you can fall in, and you can fall one way or the other. I probably end up leaning too far on the side where not using video reference enough, and that can sometimes it can sometimes be a hindrance to myself. Actually, I probably should shoot more video reference than I do, but I like to kind of just shoot from the hip, do a little more improvisational animation, which is kind of a strange thing. Most people don't talk about that very much. But I definitely, if I'm doing something that's kind of, that I've never really attempted before, I will definitely pop in some reference to be like, okay, what am I not going to think about or have thought about in my head about this shot? Like, what kind of a weight shift am I not going to pre-plan? And so I'll look up, like on YouTube, like guy jumping on trampoline, and then you see like how their body might land in a different kind of a pose than you would have thought, or the timing might be a little snappier than you would have thought, or a little slower than you would have thought. So it's always good to use that stuff, especially if it's something that you haven't really attempted before, just to help get yourself into the mindset a little bit more and understand the process of what's really going to be going on. And don't be afraid to use reference. I know a lot of people shy away from it too, and I don't want to promote that at all. But what I do want to promote is, I noticed there's a lot of people who really just, okay, all we really get is we do get a spread, don't we? It's just a universal spread though. It's unfortunate. I was hoping that they'd have a little more variation here, so I'll have to kind of get a little bit there. That's alright. Just not as unique of a hand pose as we can get, because we can't do any individual grouping here. But getting back to kind of talking about video reference, which evidently is what I want to talk about today. I didn't think I was going to talk about video reference at all, but there you go. Teleprompter free here, folks. That's right. Anyways, the nice thing about not using video reference, in my opinion, which again, I'm probably either a few steps ahead of where you are as an animator, or a few steps behind. So I'm not claiming I'm a master of anything. Just own personal experiences and stuff that I've learned over the last few years doing this. I think not using video reference and just kind of doing a quick pose in the camera and just kind of getting a little glimpse of something like that is going to help push your understanding of it and the way that you think about the animation a little bit more, because you're not just like, oh, on frame 1 he's there, on frame 2 he's there, on frame 3 he's there, and then mimicking that in your animation. 1 second here. Okay, now let's go ahead and Again, I would like to get some more unique hand posing here, but I think that might be all we can really push from this rig, because we just get kind of a open close kind of a feel. The pose is okay, balance is alright. Probably would push this a little bit more, so let's see. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and create another locator. I was thinking I was just going to do a quick little walk here, but now it's looking like it's going to be a little bit longer of one today. So, that's life. That's my day today. It's been everything that I've been doing. I feel like it's going to not take very long, and then it ends up doing that. So that's okay. Alright, so we're going to grab the wrist and open our outliner again. Show all. And locator. If we did that correctly, we should be able to move this, and the wrist, the hand, and the cube are all going to move together. So you see, the one where we don't have it parented yet, it would not move with the cube. So we want to go ahead and do that on the other side. So again, we're going to go ahead and create a locator, and go ahead and pull that up. And we want to pretty much plant it right in there. Again, the reason we're doing the locator is so we can add a little bit of movement on the hand, and it's not just going to feel plastered to the box. Give us an opportunity to add some little more what they call keep alive, which isn't necessarily like it's a big arced movement or anything, but just so there's a little bit of doesn't pixel lock or stick in that same place there. So we're going to grab this, control click our locator, parent those, and our locator. Shift click the box and parent those again. If we did that correctly, we should be able to move this guy and both hands and the box, and everything's going to move with that. Okay, so all that's finally done now. Let's again go ahead and save our file. Again, don't forget to save multiple versions and save often, because you're probably going to have crashes every once in a while, and it's just a good kind of standard to have, so you don't lose your work that your beautiful animation work that you guys are coming up with and creating each and every day. So let's go ahead and make sure we keyed all of that stuff to begin with. And right. Let's go 12. Distance here, and good thing to look at to make sure you're kind of getting fairly even steps, is to look at the distance between the legs there. A little bit more here, so we'll just scale it back there. Again, the first thing we really want to approach is doing the feet and the hips, so we'll go ahead and do that. Let's see, a little bit bigger here, so scale that back, pull our hips forward. And as you can tell, we're not doing a cycle anymore. I think that boat has passed here. Now what is going on with that knee there? That is a funky way to use that knee controller here. Oh, maybe this is the knee. So what's this? That's just a stretch? Okay. Anyways, I think that's the knee controller, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way and approach that into here, and yep, there we go. And bring that forward. Okay, just want to get those knees right. Just using this stretch. That's a funny little stretch controller. Okay, so get that there, and that's the fun part. maybe I'm approaching this the wrong way, folks. You'll have to let me know in the comments below. Of getting a new rig that you've never used before each and every day is that you give yourself new challenges and new exciting things to push your stuff forward. So definitely, if you want to challenge yourself, give yourself an hour, try to come up with something in animation with a rig you've never used before that looks halfway decent. There's a challenge for you. I find that it's a fun one to take on each and every day. So if you guys are a little bit crazy like me, go ahead and try that challenge. I think it's fun though. Some days. No, it's always fun. And let's look at our graph editor. Look at our translate Z. This is the movement from left to right on the hips. And let's go ahead and make that a little more of a constant so we don't have some slow in and slow out there. That looks pretty good. Okay. And let's go ahead and watch it. Again, there's probably going to be some lag here. Yeah, it's a little laggy. So hopefully the frames aren't skipping for you folks, you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, creative folks at home. And let's just kind of frame through it ourselves then here. Okay. And let's go ahead and lock all these. We'll start building the passing position here. And this guy, again, we're just locking in all these main keys that we had already built. Let's go ahead and save our file again one more time. Again, I really would like some more finger controllers here. Hand pose I feel is really vanilla, but work with what we got in the time frame allotted here. And let's go and get that passing position up here. Raise that foot up. And we'll plant down. Go here, we'll raise that foot up. And plant down. And let's go to the other side here. And we'll raise that foot up here. Plant down. And we're going to keep these steps pretty low to the ground because if you were carrying something heavy, you wouldn't be doing big fancy steps, and those might even be too high. So let's go ahead and grab both feet, and we're going to look at the translate Y on both feet here, and I'm just going to even that out a little bit more here. His feet are kind of set up a little bit differently. You can tell that they don't completely go back to zero there. They kind of continue to lift off there. Which is interesting. I wonder why it wouldn't just zero out for the values there. Oh, not going to worry about it. It still works. So we'll go ahead and bring that up. Let's go ahead and drag that foot down. And drag that foot down. Again, we'd want these, everything in this walk to feel a little bit labored because he's carrying something heavy. And in order to get a sense of weight here, we wouldn't want him to feel like he could do big steps and be really bouncy and everything. We're going to want to make it feel labored here. So with that, let's go ahead and get a little vanilla-y. So we're going to go up on the hips here. Again, that's going to be too much, but we'll scale it back, so I'm not too worried about it. Just kind of planting it in here. Like I said, this rig is a little bit laggy, so just kind of going with our day today. This is pretty much how. And bring it back. And it's important as we, the inspiration that I talk about each and every day when I go off and try and find a quote to share with you guys. They're important. I mean, it's something that I hope you guys get as much out of those as I do every day, because it's always inspiring to hear other people who've have gone through the struggles and gone through the tough art life, and what they have to say that help them through, or what kernels of wisdom they have to pass on. I always glean that stuff and really try to soak that stuff up like a sponge. Okay, let's do a little bit of rotate Y here. Let's go the right way there to favor that front planted foot, and rotate Y there to favor that side. Again, over again. One thing I might try, I might put this in wireframe mode and see if we can speed up the get rid of that little bit of lag that we're getting with this rig. So let's go ahead and try that out. So they're over that planted foot and over this one here. And if you're wondering, just hit 4 and 5 on the keyboard. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that. To switch between wireframe mode and polygonal mode, or shaded mode, I guess is the correct term there. I find that I never use the correct terms for things. Let me know in the comments below. I don't know why. Do you guys like using the correct terms for stuff? I always find that I come up with, the little squiggly line key. So you can tell, yeah, I'm master of all things Maya. Should come up with a cool wizard hat with that on it. It's late. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of rotate Z to favor that hip there. And again, we're going to keep most of this to a minimal amount because there wouldn't be a lot of wild, wacky movement if you're carrying something heavy. You're just trying to get from point A to point B without dropping whatever the thing is. Usually with when something's heavy, and that's a good lesson or practice to do, is to try and do. It's one that I did when I was first learning. One of the first few lessons is to get to make 2 little ball rigs, or to try. I'm sure there's a couple that I've done here as well on the channel that I featured. Is to get 2 separate ball rigs, and then try and give them separate weights. So I'm just gonna add a little bit here. So you could do one ball that's a heavy ball that would be like, and the other one would be a light ball, so it'd be like boing, 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 and that would help you understand, getting in something where we're looking at, we want to make sure this box feels like there's at least some substance to it, and it's not just, something really light that you can just throw around and carry or not have to do, but, he's having to really labor with it. And again, it's not something that we're adding tons and tons of weight on, but we want to feel like there's some substance there to it. Like it would affect his walk in some way to hinder it a little bit. And that's just stuff that you want to think about. You want to think about when you're doing body mechanics or acting or any of that kind of stuff. You want to think about, how would this, that brings me back to thinking about Mike Gassaway, who what questions we do? We might switch our rotate Y's and X's here because the way this rig's set up, but we'll see. But in my, I think if you go to my main YouTube page, in the other awesome channels, or the channel box that's on the right hand side, check out Mike Gassaway's channel. But he has a great tip for any sort of a shot, and he calls it the hold the coffee cup acting. You might have a more polished name for that by now, or a different one, and I'm saying it wrong. But the idea is, if you are getting poses that seem very flat, like, I have an idea, huh? Wow. Anything where you can't find a more unique, interesting way to pose about something. He calls it the hold the coffee cup acting. I don't have one here, but simply by holding a prop in their hand, or giving our character a prop like we have here, you create a different dynamic and different posing. Because if I want to say wow, I have to say wow with this hand here. Let me make sure my camera do wow like this, but I can't do this. I'd have a different hand pose here, and I'd probably hold my hand a little bit different. So it just adds. It's a way to mix up your acting if you feel like your posing's getting a little bit stale. Is just add a simple prop for whatever reason, and he calls that the hold the coffee cup method acting, I think, or something like that. He's a great guy. Awesome teacher. So if you get a chance to watch any of his videos, like I said, and pretty much all the videos that I link down below on those channels, I always, they I don't know if they know that I have a YouTube channel or anything, but all those people are people that have definitely influenced me and helped me learn and grow. So I always suggest, if you're looking for more videos because you've been watching mine all day and you've had your fill of my amazing commentary in animation, definitely check out those channels because those guys are vastly talented and extremely intelligent. So if you are one of the people in that channel link box, or you'd like to become one, let me know in the comments down below. And let's just do a little bit up and down. And this might be one of those ones that we really have to play blast in order to really kind of see if it's working here. What we might try with this is move this up a little bit. Let's see if we like that. So we get a little more. Go up. That might work. Just to mix it up, add a different kind of feel to our shot here. So let's see. And we probably offset that with the chest as well, so it's not as over the top. But just gives a little bit of different timing there. And so the foot would hit here, and then it would go down, I think. I think we might switch that. Let's see. Okay, and let's go and look at the chest again. Again, sorry that we're in wireframe mode. I usually like to work in shaded mode a little bit, but it just felt like it was a little too laggy. So let's see. Let's kind of frame through this. And that's probably too over exaggerated, so let's scale it back. Scale back on the hips as well. And this is, I mean, it's a good thing. I always try to be as open and as honest with my animation as I can with you guys and let you see the bumps and the bruises when things work and when things don't, so that you guys don't feel frustrated when you come up with stuff that's a little tricky in your shots as well. So you can see that there's someone else, dealing and going through those same things. Like you guys as well, rather than doing a 8-minute video that's a speed animate kind of thing, which I don't know. I always thought that there's more value in really watching someone's process and seeing when things work and when things don't. I'm just as interested myself, and you guys feel free to tell me I'm crazy in the comments below. But I'm just as interested in when things work as when things don't work in the creative process. I'm trying to see if there's a toe tap, but it doesn't appear that there is. There's a million things I can do with the foot here, but no tap. Foot roll. Foot twist. Nope. Foot sway. Nope. Huh. No toe controller, I guess. See, this is more of like a toe pivot rather than a break here. Separate controller that I'm just not and zero that out. Actually, let's push that back to 6 and then a 5. Erase them up here and zero them out there. And this way, maybe we could even do some successive movement or some breaking up. Cool. I wonder why they don't have the fingers set up that same way. Maybe we'll have to do some searching here and see if we can't find a better finger posing. We can always find better finger posing. It's just how much, with trying to stay within an hour with sharing these videos with you guys so they don't go too long. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little tied there. And sometimes we go a little far. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lead with the thumb toe or the big toe and follow with the pinky, so I'll delay that a frame so that way we get a little bit of like successive movement in there. So let's see. Yeah, see we get a little bit of splay. So it leads here and then we get that little bit of variation in our timing as well. Okay, great. I'm glad that there are those controllers that we can play around with here. So let's go ahead and set that there. And I believe there's a version 2 of this rig, so a lot of this stuff may be addressed in there as well for anything that I'm mentioning here. And for all I know too, I could just be nutty and be missing these controllers. So I think actually we want to go back to 180, not 0. Which is again kind of a strange approach there, but that's okay. We'll go with it. Again, we're going to key that there. Drag it down there. Lift it up there. And then we'll take the big toe or the thumb toe. And I think we want to go minus 180. I think I might have gone a little bit too carried away there. Actually, let's go ahead and grab all of them. Minus 180 here. And let's just redo the rest of it. Okay. Let's go delete everything here. Give us minus 180. So these ones are all let's go 180 here. It's just the big toe that's kind of off. Let's see. Key that. Again, let's go ahead and drag those guys and we'll lift them up. Pinky, I'm going to go ahead and delay that a frame. Got the hiccups, sorry about that, folks. And let's go ahead and key that guy. I'll just key the big toe separately, that's fine. And we'll go ahead and drag that a little more and lift it up there. And again, we'll go ahead and push that forward a frame just so we get that little bit of splay. So you have it starting with the big toe and ending with the pinky. Boop. Alright, great. Okay, so let's see how we're looking with this thing. Okay, and let's look at this is the head controller. Let's go ahead and drag that a little bit more here. And then lean back. And we're going in different timing on this. What we did with the rotate X or Z, depending, it's kind of up and down rather than a side to side or a twist controller. On the chest and the hips, we did that starting at 3, and this one we're starting at 6. So we're keeping that same, 6 rhythm every 6 frames, new key pace, but we're staggering the timing there a little bit, which will hopefully add a little bit of that successive movement throughout here. So let's go ahead and look at that again. Let's go ahead and see that now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save a file here, and I'm going to play blast this and see if we can get a better frame rate here. It might still be a little stuttery, but I just want to be able to see a little more. Okay, great. Looks like it's feeling pretty loose and not too over the top. We could probably do a little bit less in the up and down just because of how much it's affecting the box. I feel like the head's pretty loose, and we could probably do a little more up and down here. And don't, never hesitate to play if you're getting slow frame rate. Play blast your shot, and then watch it over a couple times. Kind of address what the problems are if you can't really watch it in real time and get a better feel for it. So let's go ahead and what we wanted to do. 2 notes that I'm seeing from this is I want to exaggerate the up and down in the hips, not a ton, but a little bit, and tone down I believe it's rotate Z, but the bounciness for the box, so the box itself isn't going. I feel like that's going a little too much. Another thing that we could do if we didn't want to do it that way is to do the box itself, do some rotate on the box itself, and counter animate it there. So I don't know, I'm not sure which one I'm going to do, but I know for sure I want to exaggerate the up and down on the hips, and by about 10%, not a whole lot. So we're just going to take our values here. Make sure I'm still recording and pause that. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to take our values here and just exaggerate them a little bit. That way we just get a little more up and down. Again, not a ton, but a little more. I'm pleased that that ended up working out as well as it did. I was thinking that perhaps it was still going to need some extra polishing there. And I think I want to counter animate the box. I feel like that's a more interesting solution to our problem than just toning it down. And it'll add some much needed movement in the hands and everything as well. Now again, I don't want to do a lot of that, so I'm going to go ahead and even it out and tone it down as well. And then after that, I think I want to do a little bit of keep alive in the hands like we had mentioned in the beginning. And so let's just kind of leaf through that, see how it feels. What I'm trying to do is not have as much change of shape in the box. As you see right now, it's angled that way, and then there it's angled there. So let's see if we can angle it back a little more there, and angle it down a little more here. Just so we don't get so much bounce in the box itself. Okay, and now let's go ahead and this hand pose, and we'll go ahead and set that there. And then we'll add a little bit of, so I'm not going to let us do just the hand here. No, okay. Let's step back here, make sure we did key that up. I'm going to take that one. I'm going to do just a little bit, like I said, just a little bit of keep alive here. again, keep alive is just making sure we don't really get pixel lock. It's not like there's a really needed acting bit here. We could do something where he really does a shift in his hands, which could be something interesting, but I think that would, it's a 2-second clip. There's already enough going on that I think just making sure those hands feel like there's some movement to them and maybe a little bit of slippage or something in there. Help them feel like that should be good enough. Okay. Let's go ahead and just go to the other hand here. And we'll need to do a little bit in the fingers again. I think I'm just going to do keep alive. I don't really have any specific arbitrary way that I'm approaching this, just doing a little bit here and there. And not a ton, because I want these hands to still feel like they're pretty secure on the box, but just that there's a little bit of change in the placement there. Okay, and let's look at the fingers here. Let's do a little bit of lean up, and a little bit of lean down. Again, this would be one of those times where it'd be nice to have individual spreads instead of a universal spread. That's okay, we'll use what we got here. And again, nothing really super methodical or anything in any of this, just a little bit of movement in there. I think I'm going to do a little bit of relax and a little bit of out as well, so it's not just sway. And now let's look at the thumb, and we're just going to do a little bit of that, because I can't really do too much with that. Or maybe we can't. Let's see. Let's turn back our shaders here so we make sure we're not intersecting the box there. I'll go back a little bit forward and kind of ease into that last spot. See, we don't have any rotates or anything on the fingers, but that's okay. And let's go ahead and go here. And set that. See, this one doesn't have that. Weird. Yeah, it's really sensitive, kind of funky. Okay. Well, just like I said, this is just more keep alive. I'm not really too worried. And this one we're not even going to see, but I still want to try and have good habits. So still get in there and make sure that we actually won't do it from here. And a little bit of spread there. And a little bit of lean there. And back. Just add some variation in there. And we're going to do a little bit of, let's see, relax and stretch out here. And again, I'd love to be able to really get in there and do some better hand posing, but with the kind of setup we got, I think that's going to be the best way that we can add a little bit of movement in there, but not be too. Okay. Now we've got where it is. Let's go ahead and save our file again, and let's go ahead and play blast this and see how we like that. I think we're pretty close to having something that's working, so let's give it. Alright, I feel like that works pretty well. I think there's a little bit of intersection on the toes here. Hands still feel fairly stiff, so maybe I'll do a little bit of rotation here. And head kind of feels like it's smacking into there, but I like that. I think that's just kind of fun. And then there's definitely some lighting issues with this rig as well. So something I'll have to think about for when I play blast the last version. But as far as just the animation works, think I just want to do a little bit of rotate in the wrists and fix the toes, and I think that'll. It's been a long day. I think that'll call it for today. At least we got something that works here. But again, I want to do a little bit of rotation here. And a little bit back, just so that it feels a little more or less stiff, I guess. You can probably do a little more in the thumb as well. Dang it, where's that thumb? Oh, there it is. Here we go. Well, maybe there's two separate controllers. Maybe one's the stick and one's the thing. That could be something. In which case, yeah, okay. I'm just not that bright. Okay, so we can do some better hand posing, so let's go ahead and do that. This will help break everything up. Okay, just in case you're wondering, the little dot is a controller, and also the stick on there is a controller. Like I said, with the fun part and kind of sometimes the difficult part, that's a good challenge is to let yourself play around with different rigs all the time, because each rig is going to have its own beautiful things. Like I think this is really aesthetically a very nice rig, and overall pretty capable rig as well. So I'd definitely put it in probably my top 20 free rigs out there, maybe top 15. But it's definitely got some things that could be tweaked around with it as well. But like I said, I believe there is a version 2 of this rig that is a paid rig that I haven't got my hands on, so I can't really speak to that one very much, but I imagine it's got an extra level of polish in it as well. And again, we're just doing a little bit of keep alive here, just so that our hands don't feel as flat and get a little better grouping. And when I say grouping, sometimes I realize that I don't define things maybe as well as I should. So please, if I ever say something and you don't really understand what I'm saying or what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments down below. Ooh, you know what I just noticed? That wrist is all bugged out. Dang it. So maybe we'll have to watch this from the other side, because that's not really something that is going to fly with me. But it stinks because I didn't see it. It's hidden behind there. Retus. Okay. So let's see if it's maybe something that we can fix quickly. So let's see. Nope. I was thinking maybe it was a rotation thing. What if we zero out the rotation here? Again, let's see if we can't just fix it better from the first pass. Did we break the wrist yet? That's one thing that you'll learn as an animator, that a lot of times you end up breaking rigs in ways that you didn't mean to, or you didn't even know you would. And I think sometimes for different animators, I know for myself, okay, let's look at the rotates and we'll clean those up a little bit better. Okay, at least we were able to clear that up so it didn't feel so broken. That might help us as well. Maybe that was just something that, and that's the thing too, why it's always great to get a second pinion or a second extra set of eyes on your rig, is maybe you just weren't seeing something. Because how long had I been looking at that, and or in turn, you guys are probably like I said, way better. I always think you guys are amazing. So you guys probably saw that right away. But how long had I been looking at this and doing that, and I I never even saw that, and that's a pretty big thing. I mean, the wrist was all janky like that. So it's always, even when you think a shot's done, and almost all the time with stuff that I do with you guys, and we're doing 48 frames in an hour. It's usually the main goal. There's a lot of polish that a lot of these shots need, but usually we try to just get them as something that's a readable, workable version that's got a higher level of polish than most things that are out there. But they're nothing that I would say is definitely a finished, polished, ready to put on your reel or ready to go on the big screen kind of a animation. But always try and get an extra set of eyes. Try as hard as you can when you're looking at your shots to go in with a fresh set of eyes yourself, especially if it's stuff that you're putting on your animation reels. Why are we losing that? Shoot. Okay. Attitude, separate layer there. Alright, well, this will be another fun step to go. I'm going to have to go in and re-add that to its own layer there so we can make sure that we can hide the rest of it and still get there. Oh no, I lost my train of thought. Oh well. Hopefully it wasn't that important. If it was, let me know in the comments below. Let me know, or I'll find it when I rewatch this and edit it. I think the main goal of what I was talking about, got the hiccups today, is try and get an extra set of eyes on anything. Because no matter how many times you watch something, step away from it, come back to it, you're going to see all the stuff that you messed up with, that your brain just wasn't seeing while you're in that current session of animation. So one little other tip that I've mentioned before, but I don't think I have for a while, that I used to do all the time, that I don't do as much just because we do these more straightforward, quicker to the punch shots. I'm going to go ahead and play blast that real quick so you can watch it in better time. Play blast your animation. If you have a phone or a laptop or a tablet or whatever, upload the play blast or transfer it onto your phone or your tablet or your laptop, or a separate viewing mode than what you're working on. Go outside. If you smoke, have a smoke. If you drink, have a drink. If you like lollipops, have a lollipop. Whatever it is that can kind of get you in a different mentality than necessarily work mode. Sit down, pull it up on your mobile device or whatever you have that you can go outside with. It's just something that I find gives me a different frame of mind and a different way to think. If I'm more relaxed, if I'm having a smoke, or if I'm drinking some coffee or just something where I'm in a little more relaxed mode and I can look at it in a different size screen, in a different environment, with something that for me, maybe you guys don't, I'm sure you got some sort of drink or snack or something, and just sit down and look at your stuff and bring a little journal with you and jot down all the things that you see now that you didn't see then, and chances are you're going to be able to at least find 3 things, no matter how polished your shot is, that you're just like, you know what, that's not working, ooh, I didn't notice that, or and I think it's a good thing to help grow your animation vocabulary and your animation eye as well, because your animation eye is really important. If you can't see the problems in your animation, you're not going to be able to know how to address them or how to fix them. And by writing them out as well, it's going to expand your animation vocabulary so you can speak to your animation a little better, so that you can verbalize what's wrong with it, or you can help other people as well and be able to more accurately or more helpfully describe the things that you notice that are wrong in their shots, or to notice and be able to describe and understand the things that are good in their shots, so you can try and do that kind of stuff as well to grow your own animation. So that being said, a little bit of a rambly one, a little bit of a longer day today. So let's take a look back at the beautiful work of Régis Loisel. And he said, "When I draw, I think of nothing but what I do at the moment I do it." It's a great challenge. I know for myself, when I hit those days where I just sit down at the tablet or in front of a sketchbook or in front of Maya, and I'm just in the zone. Hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, 4 hours can go by, and it's almost like 10 minutes went by, and you're just in the zone, and that's all you're thinking about, and it's just absorbing you and flowing through you and going from your your spirit to your head to your heart, to your body, to your fingertips, to your utensils, to out into the world. If you can keep that flow as clean as you can, I think that's a great goal to have. It's a difficult one to achieve all the time, but it's a great place to shoot for. You guys are amazing. I love you lots. If you're watching this, you are the creative future. You really are. So go off and create something new and amazing today. And I think that'll do it for today. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little more relaxed, and we can do some more great creative and imaginative stuff together. And with that being said, we will see you for some more animation tomorrow.